Hey guys, this is Courtney from the Word of Truth. I just wanted to share with you something interesting that I heard a couple days ago and something that I've really been thinking about since I heard it. So I was watching this video that Manifest made, and in it he said something that kind of struck me. He said, problems are a sign of life. And that stood out to me because it's so true, If you're living, of course, you're gonna have problems, but they're good because they show that you're alive, Scars are a sign of what you've been through. They're nothing to be ashamed of. They show where you've been and where you've come from. They tell your story, and they let other people know where you've been, and you can relate to other people. They show our humanity. Without problems, we wouldn't be human. And I think that's what he was trying to get at, It's like Cutlass says in their song, To Know That You're Alive, they say, right now you're bruised and bleeding. I see the hurt that's in your eyes. I know your pain is for a reason. You need to feel just to know that you're alive. And that's so true. We need to feel the emotions of this life. We're not mindless robots that are just meant to march around and do whatever. We're humans, and problems show our humanity, like I said before. We need to go through things and experience them in order to know that we are alive. Problems are very, very much a sign of life. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you're going through something right now, something that's really difficult, something that you're afraid about, or even ashamed of or hurt by, recognize those feelings, realize that they're authentic, and that they show your humanity. You can talk to people about it. It's okay to feel the emotions that we feel. It definitely is. Those emotions show our humanity too. They definitely do. And Jesus understands everything that we've been through. In fact, the Apostle Paul says in Romans 8:28 that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And I've seen that proven true in my own life. This summer I was kind of in a dark place. See, I had been a self-professed Christian for most of my life, but I didn't really know who God was. I was searching for him, but I was going through a struggle of my own, and I had actually overcame the problem. But for 2 years after I overcame the problem, I was still plagued with feelings of guilt and shame, And I felt like, how could God really love someone like me? How could God love someone that has done so many things wrong, I felt dirty and worthless, and sure, there are plenty of worse things that could have been done, but to me, it was just like, that was the end of the world, I thought, well, I'm going to hell anyway, so why pray, why do anything, And then I went to this trip in June, and God radically changed me. He told me, remember your roots. Remember where you've came from, what you've done, where you've been. Now remember that I'm erasing all that. I don't care what you've done, where you've been. I'm making you brand new, and I'm allowing you to start over again because I love you. He gave me limitless grace. And he helped me to see who I am and whose I am. I'm not worthless. I'm someone that's made in the image of God. And I'm his, and I am wholly and dearly loved by him. We all are. I want you to know right now, you are so precious to God. You are his. You are wholly and dearly loved by him. He does not care what you've done. Paul himself claimed that he was the worst of sinners because he persecuted the Christians before he came to know Christ. He even killed quite a few of them. He says he's not worthy to be a follower of Christ, but God showed him grace anyway and used him to do great things, and that's the message that I have for you today. God does not care where you've come from, where you've been, or what you've done. That is history. If you accept him today, if you ask him to forgive you and give you grace, he will. you know, He absolutely will, and He'll use you to do great things. Maybe He'll even use your story to reach out to others and relate to them and show them that they're not alone. I promise you, you're not alone. Like I said, Paul said that God works all things out for our good, and that's so true. One thing that God's been telling me lately is the why is not important. It's what I'm doing in you that's important, and that's so true. I talked to God and I was like, I'm so glad that you've set me free, but I don't understand why it took you 2 years to do that. 2 years of my feeling hopeless to do that. And that's when he told me, the why is not important, it's what I'm doing in you that's important. And I've learned that so many times, and it's so, so true, you guys. We don't need to know the answers to things. In fact, there's some things that we'll never know the answers to until we get to heaven, because they're not for us to know. Only God needs to know the answer to those things, but what's important is what God is doing in us, the person that He's shaping us to be, how He's transforming us, and the way in which He's calling us to live now. What's important is the forgiveness that He's given us, the grace that He's bestowed on us. What's important is the fact that His grace is limitless. No matter where you've come from or what you've done, God loves you. You guys, I cannot stress this enough. I doubted it myself for the last 2 years, and I've come back from this place of depression, and I've seen God is so real, so present, and He does love you despite whatever you may have done. People might love you conditionally, but God will always love you unconditionally. And I just want to show you guys, that's just so important to remember. So I want to encourage you, if you're going through something right now, embrace your problem. Realize that it shows your humanity. Talk to someone, get help if you need to get help. But then just pray that God would show you the good in that situation, that He would forgive you if you need forgiveness, that He would set you free from whatever might be going on in your life. And then embrace the good that He's doing in you. Realize that you might not get an answer overnight. It might take quite a while for you to sense what He's doing in you, but it'll happen. I promise you it will. And when it does, it's going to be so glorious and so amazing. Alright, that's all I've got for you guys today, but I hope you enjoyed this video and found encouragement from it. I enjoyed sharing it with you. Stay tuned, we're going to have a lot more videos coming up in the future, maybe some video interviews with people again like we did before, maybe even some band interviews. I've still got to get those set up, but they're in the works, so I will let you know how that goes and keep you posted. Alright, greetings.